find these premises to be in order.
Thank you, Mudge. Appreciate that very kindly. Tonight we'll start with invocation from District 2.
Tonight we'll have David Hill, who's been here several times to give the invocation. David is president of Tennessee Bible College, and I think it qualifies him many times you've had him. Not more than the current. Okay.
Thank you for the invitation. Will you bow with me, please? Gracious God, eternal Father, we thank you for this beautiful fall day which we've been able to see and to live, to enjoy the beauty of our surroundings. We thank you, Father, for this country, for the freedom that we've enjoyed for these many years, for liberty, for all that you have blessed us with, the bounty that's been ours through these many years and through our lifetime. And Father, we pray for our nation. We pray for our nation in this time of decision as we are selecting leaders for at the national level. We pray, dear Father, that good men and women will be raised up to lead this nation, to lead us in the right direction, to lead us in the way of truth and right. And Father, we ask your blessings to be upon this commission, to be upon this body of people, these public servants. We pray that they would do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly before you. It's in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Mr. Neighbors, go, please, sir.
Give me just a quick second right here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you take your handsets, everybody press yes and just stop right there for me. Everybody press yes and stop right there, please. All right, now would everybody press confirm now for me, please? Everybody press confirm. All right. Mr. Ford, your headset's right there.
I'm sorry.
I was going to tell him his headset's right there.
Hey, Jared. Jared.
Mr. Chairman, all 24 members are present. There is a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second. A motion and a second. Mr. Rogers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda under item E, other new business, add item 2 to recognize Ms. Connie Albright from the Library Board, and also to add item number 3 to recognize Sheriff Eddie Ferris.
Got a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Now the original motion of approval of the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 6, approval of the minutes, previous meeting.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Report of Standing Committee. Unfinished business. Planning Committee.
Planning Committee, no unfinished business.
Physical Review Committee.
No unfinished business.
Nominating Committee.
No unfinished business.
Report of any special committees under unfinished business. Any other unfinished business? Item number 8 is new business. Report of the Standing Committees. Planning Committee.
Planning Committee, number 1, consider amendment to the Tennessee Central Heritage Rail to Trail Grant contract by extending the grant period until November 1st, 2017, and I so move.
Second.
And a motion and a second. Any discussion? Got a motion and a second. No discussion. Favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries.
Number 2, consider list from Sheriff's Department declaring certain vehicles as surplus items to be sold via internet public auction. I so move.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, you favor the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries.
Any other business that needs to be reviewed by the Planning Committee? There is none.
Thank you kindly, Mr. Chair. Fiscal review.
Fiscal Review recommends approval of budget amendments to the County General Fund as presented, and I so move.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, Mr. Clerk.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you take your handsets, if you favor the motion, vote yes. If you're not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Stop right there for me, please. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Now, please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. Mr. Chairman, we have 24 voting yes, 0 no, 0 absent, 0 abstain. Motion carries. Give me just a second, Chris. Got it. Thanks.
Fiscal Review recommends approval of budget amendments to the General Purpose School Fund as presented, and I so move.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All right, Mr. Clerk.
All right, seeing none, if you take your handsets, you favor the motion, vote yes. If not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Stop right there for me, please. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Now, please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Doing great. Appreciate it. All right. Mr. Chairman, you have 24 yes, 0 no, 0 absent, 0 abstain. Motion carries. Thank you, Chris.
Fiscal Review recommends approval of budget amendments to the Sheriff's Drug Control Fund as presented, and I so move.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, Mr.
All
Clerk.
right, seeing none, if you take your handsets, you favor the motion, vote yes. If not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Stop right there for me, please. Wait just a second. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Please press confirm for me now, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. Everybody press confirm. Mr. Holmes. He's trying? Okay. Hip him, Ben. He did it. Is it acting up? I did. Okay. We also put you a new battery in there, brother. You're energized. I want to see you run around now, okay? Yeah. All right. All right, Mr. Chairman, all 24 vote yes, 0 no, 0 absent, 0 abstain. Motion carries. All right, thank you, Mr. Savage.
Fiscal Review recommends budget amendments to the Road Department Fund as presented, and I so move.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Mr. Clerk.
All right, seeing none, take your handsets in favor of the motion, vote yes. If not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Stop right there for me, please. Mr. Ford, thank you. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Please press confirm for me now, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. Excellent. Mr. Chairman, we have 24 voting yes, 0 no, 0 absent, 0 abstain. Motion carries.
Fiscal Review recommends approval to apply for the following solid waste grants. Used oil grant for $44,500 and a recycling equipment grant for $44,848.60 with a 30% grant. And I so move.
Second.
Match, it's a match.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Favor of the, against the motion, say no. Motion carries.
That concludes fiscal review.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Nominating.
Mr. Chairman, nominating has one item. Nominating committee recommends the following appointments to the Delinquent Property Tax Committee for a 2-year term to expire October 2018. Cindy Adams, Marcia Bowman. I so move.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any nominations from the floor?
Motion nomination cease.
And a motion that nominations cease and elect by acclamation.
Yes, sir.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on that? Favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. And the motion carries.
That's all. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Honeycutt. Report of special committees. Any reports? Resolutions?
There are no resolutions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Election of notaries.
We've got a long list tonight. Linda Alcorn, Amy G. Allen, Michelle Baji, Noel Arbohannon, Sparkle Breenley, Jonathan Coretto, Jenny Cassell, Brett Cooper, James M. Dale Jr., Dylan Durham, Tamara Farley, Jennifer Flatt, April Freeze, Tamika Hale, David W. Horner, Suzanne Howard, Jeff Manier, Harold Ralph Maynard, Mary Denise McNeil, Ted McWilliams, Rachel M. Moses, Dale Moss, Darrell K. Murphy, Shayna L. Pardue, Mackenzie Rabb, Ronald Randolph II, Eileen Rich, Patricia Roper, Connie F. Strong, Catherine A. Tuck, Kim Veers, Myra Walker, Judith B. Watts, Johnny Wilson, and Johnny Wheeler and Mike Wilson.
Need a motion?
Motion approved.
And a motion and a second. Any discussion? We'll vote handsets.
Yes, with these we have to vote a hand. So if you take your handsets in favor of the motion, vote yes. If not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone please vote. Stop right there. Anyone wish to change their vote, please press confirm now for me, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Chairman, all 24 vote yes, 0 no, 0 absent, 0 abstain. Motion carries. Thank you so much.
Item E is other new business. Item 1, here an update on the fairgrounds by County Executive Randy Porter.
This is the first report I'm giving you back on looking at some alternatives to the fairgrounds, about either buying some property or doing some kind of option with the new facility. You have a report that was handed out to you that goes into detail about my looking at how to work and something that we might be expensive check. After several meetings with them, my feeling is that there's just too many hurdles and not enough control to any cons to look at doing it. It's not in the sewer limits, it's not covered with sewer. They're on a huge septic tank system down there with thousands of feet of field lines running everywhere down there, and we have to try to look at doing something similar, which I don't think is a good idea. 2-lane road, building costs are probably about 30% higher than what they would be if we just did them on our own, non-involving the state building commission, the state property. I listed all of them for you. My suggestion is that we put this on the back burner for now, and I'll continue looking at property or other options and go back to the report we can see.
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes. Yes, Mr. Shanks.
I'd like to make a motion that we do some maintenance on the fairground, such as painting the roofs and the grandstands that needs painting bad. That would help a lot out there, make it look, would have a nice place. It needs it bad.
No, you go right ahead. Well, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Shanks, that's going to have to go through physical review because it's an expenditure. Now, maybe.
This fairground fairgrounds brought up, I can make a motion any time.
Absolutely, yes, sir, you can. I'm not saying you can't.
This is on the floor, and I can make a motion.
Absolutely, you're exactly right. So,
If it wasn't on the floor, we'd have to go through the committee.
so tell me, please, what is your motion exactly, if you would, one more time?
Go look at the fairground, the roofs need painting, bad, and the grandstands needs painting, even the seats. So it'd help quite a bit. That's not a lot of money, and it needs to be done. And people everywhere is asking why we letting the fairground, the roofs, get rusty like they are.
Do you have a money amount?
No, I don't have money amount this time, that I might have to go through fiscal review on that.
The motion,
That's up to Mr. Porter. He's got funds to do it now. In general funds, we got $11 million in general funds sitting there, not being used. Surplus money. And this happened, I don't like it a bit.
did you want to address that, Mr. Porter? Please.
I don't disagree that it needs painting, Mr. Shanks. The reason that we have to paint the roof is because it's not safe for the workers to get up there. We tried, and, the rafters and the laths that run across under the tin are rotten, and we just can't risk the safety of our men getting up there to paint it. I thought that was the whole reason that we were not doing any major improvements to the fairgrounds, is the reason I'm looking for other options. If y'all decide that you wanna spend that kind of money on the roof, we're gonna need to look at replacing the whole roof on most of the grandstands. And if that's what you want, that's what we'll do.
Commissioner Medley. All right, I have a motion. I have not got a second. Is there a second? I have a motion and a second. I'll try if I can, and Mr. Shanks, if I'm incorrect, please correct me, because I'm not sure I really understand the motion, but your motion is to paint the fairgrounds, go right,
The roofs, the fairground buildings, it needs painting.
the roofs and,
The fairground buildings needs painting, and also the grandstand seats.
okay, so your motion is to paint the roofs and the seats and the other buildings.
That's up to somebody else. If Mr. Porter wants that done, it's up to him.
So basically, you're just looking at seats and roofs.
I'm looking at what needs to be done now. It should have been done a long time ago.
The grandstand roof and the grandstand seats.
No, the sheet barn on that tree it's rusted off. And they just go out there and look at it. What needs to be, any roofs that needs to be painted, got rusted, that's what I'm talking about. And you need to paint all the roofs, fine.
Okay, any roof as determined by maintenance, let's put it that, let's interject that, any roof that needs painting as determined by maintenance, and the seating in the grandstand.
Yeah.
Would that be accurate, an accurate motion? Does everybody, excuse me, sir,
Yeah, I'll be satisfied with that.
does everybody understand the motion? Any other discussion? Commissioner Medley?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to amend this motion after what Mr. Porter said. I think that what we should do is I will amend this, that we will send this to next month's fiscal review, and we should take a look at fixing whatever needs to be fixed before they go to painting it, because there's no use to wasting money, and that's my motion.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the amendment? Mr. Savage, did you want to address the amendment? No, just to put afterwards. Okay. Any discussion on the amendment? The amendment is that we recommend this move to physical review next month to be considered and determined how to move forward. Commissioner Ford.
I'd like to have a report next month when we meet on this by our manager and have him report back to us what all needs to be fixed, painted, or whatever on the fairground. I think that falls under your title, doesn't it?
Are you making that, Mr. Porter, I see you rising to the...
I don't disagree with that, Mr. Chairman. I think, according to TCA, the buildings fall under the county executive, so, he works for me, so, as a department head, so, we'll work together to do that, if that's what you want. I
would you be satisfied, Mr. Ford, with, physical review is going to review this next month and have your report after that, as far as that's concerned, depending upon the direction that they take?
Well, what I'd like to hear, before we discuss it in physical review, is our fire manager come back with a report to us so we know what we're even talking about. To tell us if, Randy's done told us the roofs are bad and probably need to be replaced, so we need to have some kind of idea of what we're even talking about out there. A lot of us haven't even seen it. And if they're that bad, we need to discuss about doing something else. The roofs either need to be replaced, painted, or, if they're that bad.
Mr. Medley, would you include in your motion a report prior to physical review, reviewing this, report from the county executive concerning the conditions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. We'll make that part of the motion, Mr. Ford, if that's okay. So now the motion is this, folks. It is that we will refer this to physical review for their discussion, and prior to that, they'll be given a report on the condition of the buildings and the roofs, so they can make a discussion and an adequate decision. Is that okay, Mr. Ford?
Oh, that's fine, Mr. Chairman. Does that take care of everything for you, Reggie?
He can make any motion he wants to, but I want a roll call.
Okay. Mr. Porter?
Chairman, one more thing. If you'll remember, I already brought y'all a presentation and I already presented to y'all the fairground needs and everything, so we've already done that once. You voted that you didn't want to spend any more money on it. You wanted to look at other options, so I just remind the commission of that. You'd be totally changing our direction here if we back up and want to do this. It's your call.
All right, any other discussion on the amendment? Again, is there any question concerning what motion we're discussing? Please look at me and say, I don't understand if you don't, before we move forward.
We're gonna be on the amended motion.
We are on the amendment, and the amendment is sending it to physical review for discussion. That is the amendment. Any other discussion? We've been asked for a roll call vote. Yes, and that there be a report made in advance of that report to physical review. Everybody clear? We've asked for a roll call. Mr. Clerk.
Now, we're strictly on the amendment. Only on the amendment. Take your handsets. If you favor the amendment only, that Mr. Medley had, vote yes. If you do not favor the amended part, then do not vote, then vote no. Everyone, please vote. If you favor that motion, vote yes. If you do not favor that motion, vote no. All right. But before you hit confirm, everybody okay? Everybody need to change their vote anywhere? Anybody wish to? Please press confirm for me, if you would then, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. All right. Mr. Chairman, you have 16 voting yes, 8 no, 0 absent. The amendment passes.
All right, now we're back on the motion as amended. Back on the motion as amended. Any discussion on the motion as amended? All right, let's try to understand where we are. The original motion is that we paint the buildings. It was amended to say send to physical review, so that's where we are, that it'll be considered by physical review with a report made prior to that. Mr. Rogers.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, so are you just gonna bring us the same report you've already done back to physical review? Okay, thank you.
Unless you want further,
No.
I don't spend a whole lot of time going out, the whole idea of getting estimates on what all this is gonna cost, unless that's what the commission wants. Now, I need some direction here. Do you want the same report I've already given you again, or do you want something different?
I don't believe any guidelines were stipulated, Mr. Porter, as far as what your report is. We'll leave that in your hands as far as how you report it, if this passes. All right. Mr. Williams.
If I remember the process, Randy brought us some estimates on what he thought it was gonna cost, or what needed fixed, and how much he thought it was gonna cost. And we said, well, why don't we look at other things like partnering with tech, buying land and building our own, or joining up with maybe some other counties. This is only the first step in those three options. So if we're going to go back and re-ask for estimates on repairs after every option is presented to us, we're never gonna get, I mean, repairing what we've got is one option. We've got 4. He just showed us one more. So we shouldn't really have to go back and re-ask for the estimate that we've already gotten. I mean, it's already there. So that's all I wanted to say.
Mr. Iwazen.
Randy, will this postpone you from looking at other options as well, or will this make you have to sit back for a while until we meet for fiscal review next month?
Well, that'd be the will of the commission. My thinking would be is that, if we're gonna look at spending a lot of money on the fairgrounds, I'm wasting my time looking at other options. And I think the commission, I thought the commission's already made that decision that you do not want to spend a lot of money on the fairgrounds, and that's the reason that I've been spending all the time I've spent on looking at other options. If the commission wants to change that direction, that's up to you. I mean, we'll do whatever you want to. I need your guidance on what you want to do.
We appreciate the work you've done so far. Like Mr. Williams said, I mean, you've given us several options, and really the season's coming down to the point where we're not really using the fairgrounds much this time of the year. So really to do this with the cold season coming up, I mean, I'm prepared to make a motion here that you continue to look at other options as well, because like you said, this will be, I think, a lot more costly than I think most of us realize. So I'm prepared to make a motion that we continue to
Prior
look at
to
the
that,
other options.
if I may, Mr. Walden, I think the vote on this motion will take care of that. If it fails, he's going to continue in the direction that he's continuing. You follow what I'm saying? You don't need an additional motion. He's already looking into areas. So the outcome of this vote should determine which direction he takes. If it does pass, then again, what Commissioner Shanks has asked for and Commissioner Medley has amended is what will happen. It'll go to fiscal review with a report prior to that concerning the upkeep. If it fails, then we're back to where we were prior to this. Does that make sense? So I think another motion would be out of order, quite frank. Commissioner Ford, is that okay with you, sir? Okay, Commissioner Ford.
Something I'm missing here is the fire board came up here, and ever since I've been on the commission, the fire has been a tack in the bottom, thumbtack, I'll say. The fire board came up here and asked us, didn't want any commissioners on the fire board anymore. They wanted it totally turned over to them, and it ended up that they were just renting the fairground. We don't have anything to do with the fair. The Putnam County Fair is an individual company. I could start a company called Putnam County Demolition Derbies and go out and rent the fairground and use it. And that's the way the fair is. And I don't understand why we're trying to find them a place to go or anything like that. We'd already approached Heidelberg when the county had something to do, when we had commissioners on the fair board, and they had told us there wasn't any way that we could even use or even think about using Heidelberg's for the Putnam County Fair. I think the fair board needs to be finding their own place to go, and as far as Putnam County Fairgrounds, you know, that's a piece of property the county owns, and it's just for us to rent out to individual people, whoever wants to rent it, we get the money off of it.
Excuse me for interrupting. In all due respect, Mr. Ford, I don't believe that has anything to do with the motion, which is what we're debating at this particular time. That's for future times, another motion.
I'm sorry, I lost.
That's quite all right. I said that I don't think that has anything to do with our motion. The motion is about upgrading the fairgrounds. That's what we have on the floor. So again, in all due respect, can we address our discussion?
Well, that's what I was getting at, Mike. I was trying to understand this.
I understand.
What we're actually doing.
Okay.
So,
Does Commissioner Short, are you through, Commissioner Ford? I'm sorry.
yes, I'm
Okay.
finished.
Commissioner Short.
Mr. Chairman, we've talked about this subject many a times. I'd like to call for a vote at this point, please. Call the question.
All right, let's just vote it. Here we go.
There is no other discussion. So, let's make sure we understand the motion, okay? The motion is that we send to physical review to review the maintenance on the fairground, to look at painting certain structures with a report prior to that physical review meeting. Does everybody here understand what we're voting on?
That's amendment.
Well, the amendment, we're voting on the motion as amended. That's what we're voting. In other words, the first vote was to amend the motion. We did that. Now we have to vote on the motion as it is amended.
Exactly.
Will we indeed send it to physical review? If you want to take this up, continue the discussion and continue, then you'll be voting yes. If you're ready to drop this issue or whatever, then you'd be voting no. Is that making sense?
That is correct.
Okay. Is that clear? So that we all know what we're voting on. All right.
All right, you ready?
And we will vote with a hand set.
Anywhere? All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you vote for it, if you're for the motion as amended, vote yes. If you're not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Please stop right there. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Now, please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody, press confirm. All right, Mr. Chairman, you have 4 yes, 20 no, 0 absent, 0 abstain. That motion fails.
All right. Item number 2 under new business, we have Ms. Connie Albright with Friends of the Library who wishes to make a report. So, Ms. Connie, if you'll come to the podium, identify yourself first so that you'll be on our minutes.
My name is Connie Albright, and I'm here on behalf of the Putnam County Library Friends. This is National Friends of the Library Week. We've brought you a small gift of appreciation. This is our book bag. We have a book bag for each one of you that's lined up over here on the wall. They've got your name on there, and they are in alphabetical order, so that'll be easier for you to get to. The book bag has some information inside of it. It has information about library usage, about our Putnam County Library Friends, and we also included a sweet treat. After this meeting, and you pick up the book bag, I hope that you will take a couple of minutes of your time to review the library usage information. I think you might find it interesting. We're so fortunate to have a library here in our community that it services all ages and all income levels. The value to Putnam County is priceless. We want to let you know that we appreciate your support of the Putnam County Library, and we also appreciate what you do for this community. Taking your time to serve is very important, and believe me, I know. That's all I have. I wanted to short and sweet. Just want you to let you know how we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Connie. Appreciate the library, absolutely. Item number 3 under new business, the sheriff has requested some time. Mr. Ferris.
Not to keep you very long, I just wanted to give one update and talk about another matter. Our firing range that we are in the process of building, the property down there to use, that's coming along very well. We've been down there for several months, pushing a lot of dirt. We're hoping to be shooting on that, I call it a firing range, it's gonna be a firing range as well as a training facility. But we're hoping closest aircraft for us that we can use is either Knoxville or Nashville. About 12 to 15 times a year, we're calling TXP to come up and assist us on various things. Missing children, missing adults, some kind of SWAT call out, whatever it may be. So we've been on the list and we finally got called, so we're about to take possession, I hope, in the next 2 or 3 weeks, of a OH-58 Bell Jet Ranger. And these helicopters are given to us from the military. We're gonna go down and check it out, make sure the time on the motor's not run down. This one appears to be very good on paper. The structure, there's 22 of these helicopters that's been given out to other counties across the state. So we're just one of 22 that are actually got our hand out and reaching, trying to pull money. So how we're gonna fund this and keep this thing running is through our drug seizure program. And that's how we're gonna do that. And, we started out with, almost near zero when we took office 2 years ago. We've got that fund built up quite a bit, so I feel confident that we can make this thing work. And we're actually on the list for a second one. You say, well, why do we need 2? Well, we don't want 2 to fly, but we want 1 for parts. Be able to use, maintain the parts off of it. Once you get to know these people that's involved in these aircraft, everybody's working together, trading them out, and trading parts. So really, you know, we're responsible for the fuel and some type of, preventive maintenance as far as boats are. We're also allowed after 2 years, if we so choose, we can file a report and actually sell the aircraft. This aircraft's worth approximately $250,000. So, it'll be a great need, great use for us. We don't expect to fly it all the time. It'll be mission specific, meaning we have to have a certain reason to start that thing and to go up in the air. It won't just be giving joy rides or nothing like that. So I'm excited about it. I think it's something that we could use for this county. I think it's something that, you know, I don't know how often we use it. I'm projecting we'll fly it 100 to 120 hours a year, something like that. I have also talked to the chief of police about going and partners with us on that aircraft to cover some of the maintenance and the cost. So they're confirmed and they're gonna give us an answer about that as well. If not, we'll be able to do it ourselves. Feel confident about that. But as this program goes on, we're using this equipment. Sometimes it's vehicles, sometimes it's, different things. But we're selling it and replenishing back in our funds so we can keep it, advancing the department, and that's the goal. I'm sure we'll be using it for various things, whether it's some type of medical or necessarily, for instance, the ice storm we had, something like that. We'll have it used now. Mission specific means most of the time we're gonna be using it for drug-related instances. But we can use it for other things. We are allowed to use it for other things. But I just wanted to bring you up to speed and let you know, see when it's sitting somewhere, how we're funding it, what we're gonna be, using it for. That's it. I'll be more than glad to answer some questions about it. We have 2 pilots on staff. One of them is retired from Miami-Dade Police Department. He's one of our reserve officers. Doesn't cost anything for a pilot. We also have another reserve on staff that's with the National Guard. So we're looking to get that up and running.
Commissioner Short.
So Sheriff, do you have an estimate of the annual cost to maintain it, run it, store it?
No, I mean, storing is for free. We've got the airport, regional airport is agreed to let us keep it out there. Eventually, we want to build a pad for it closer here in town.
Okay, what about the other costs on it?
Excuse me?
What about the other costs, the maintenance costs? I mean, it's
Well,
gotta have some history to it of some sort of what it's already costing, right?
That always depends on aircraft specific, so until we get the aircraft here, we won't know that. I mean, obviously, we're not gonna accept the aircraft if we got major things going on. So mostly it'll be, hopefully, we'll have to change some radios out on it to get it for the work in this area, for, law enforcement itself. We'll have to go from a military inspection to a commercial inspection, things like that.
But is it $10,000 or is it $100,000 a year?
Something like
one of the reasons I brought it up here is to let you know about it, is I'm gonna be asking to request some money coming in out of my drug fund, and that's where it's gonna be going to. Fuel is about $2.85 a gallon, runs about 20 gallons an hour, so what is that, $60 an hour of fuel, and whatever the maintenance.
What's the current fund balance on the drug fund?
It's over 100,000.
So the drug fund isn't a part of your current operating budget at all, you're just holding those dollars in?
We always hold those dollars in case we need them for something, for equipment or whatever we might need. This is how most of the, I wouldn't say most, this is how all 22 other agencies that are using these operate their county.
Any others already have experience with the operating cost of them?
I'm sure they do, such as Metro, they get about $5,000 to $10,000 in retirement, but they fly consistently 5 to 6, 8 hours a day to run those planes.
I understand, but still got I'm just trying to get some sort of a handle on what.
Yeah, well, I don't know the answer to that, but when we do, I'll be able to share.
Yes, please do. Thank you.
Commissioner Martin.
Eddie, thank you. I think this is a great idea. We're large enough, as you said, in land space, to, in my opinion, justify this. It's gonna be your eye in the sky, so to speak. Is surveillance gonna be most of your usage?
A lot of it will be, but it'll always mostly be drug specific, but it don't have to be. We got a missing child or something, or we got some kind of weather catastrophe going on, we'll use it.
Okay. One question I had was where are you gonna locate it? Well, you said you've already have an agreement with the airport to do that. And it's a good chance that, Randy Evans will probably, there's a good chance he'll want to participate in this program with you.
I certainly think so, yes.
What about the other contiguous counties?
Well, the other counties, and if Cook City does not come on board with us, what we're gonna do is come up with whatever the hour, per hour cost is on that, do some kind of MOU agreement with these other counties. And so if they call us, we'll be glad to go help as long as they agree to pay X amount of dollars per hour.
That's good, good. Help your cash flow. Well, I think it's a great idea. Thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Commissioner Redwine.
Yes, sir. I think that's gonna be a great asset to the community, only because, in the past, you know, I used to deal with that. Do you know if that's gonna have a FLIR on it or not?
It does not come with a FLIR, I wish it did.
Well, even when we used them, it was, you know, for, car chases, bank robbers. I mean, anything like that. It's great to have an eye in the sky. I think that's a great idea.
Commissioner Stevens.
Eddie, I agree with Martin, everybody here. There's definitely a need between the two, Knoxville and Nashville. There's definitely a significant void without that helicopter. So you're running this on drug funds, so there'll be no taxpayer money involved with that. So we're out of pocket nothing. And at worst case scenario, even if we got the helicopter and didn't put it to use, the military had those from 69 to 90, and they'll cost about $7 million in taxpayer money. So at the end, if we put it on gov deals in 2 years, we've just benefited $250,000. I mean, this is a win-win, no matter how you look at it. We're out no additional revenues for taxpayer or anybody. Thank you, sir. Great job.
Commissioner Ford.
I just want to echo Jim Martin and some other commissioners' thoughts on this. I think this is a great idea, and matter of fact, I said something to Jim a minute ago, and I said, well, I talked to David Andrews about this a long time ago. I thought we had a need for this. So, you know, my hat's off to you, Sheriff. That's a great idea.
Any other questions or discussion? This does not require approval, so it's just a report for each one of us at this point. Sheriff, thank you very kindly. Anything else that you have for us, sir? Couple of things then, and in closing, folks, first of all, let me remind you, if you get an opportunity, that the Rails and Trails ribbon cutting is tomorrow afternoon at 2:30. at Genco out on Shagrag Road. If you get a chance to come, our rails and trails that we've talked about and discussed for 4 or 5 years is going to come to reality tomorrow, so if you get a chance to come. Secondly, don't forget, immediately after our meeting, there is an attorney-client privilege meeting downstairs in the conference room. So once we get through here, please make your way downstairs, and Mr. Jones will be conducting a attorney-client meeting. Any other business?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, gentlemen and ladies, excuse me.
And